Hello, nerds. Welcome to your new favorite pop culture podcast. It's the post-credit show. I'm your host, Loosh, and over here I've got, well, he was just sucking his gut in, so I don't know. Hey, Lucky.
Oh, Grimace over here.
Grimace. Grimace.
Whatever
happened to Grimace and Ronald McDonald and all of the McNugget kids? Like, I've got these Robert Frost guys back here from the adult Happy Meals, but like, whatever happened to all of those characters?
Corporate America, mate. They ruined it.
They were so funny.
They ruined the precious.
They ruined it.
Hold on. We've got one for that.
They stole it from us. They stole the precious.
They certainly did. How much fun though was McDonald's going back in the day when you had all the characters had their little statues.
Back when a Happy Meal cost $2.95.
Yeah, back when the
now you can't even
playground-
buy a bloody fry for $2.95.
No, I checked. I went and asked for a 30-cent cone the other day, and they charged me 60 cents.
Well, did you ask them to just give you half a cone?
But it's ridiculous.
Yes,
Cheeseburgers
that's
used to be
wild.
$2. On Uber Eats, a friggin' cheeseburger is $5.20.
And here we are showing our age. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yep.
we are both very, very old. I
Yep.
remember when petrol was 40 cents a litre. Anyway,
Jesus Christ. Wow.
hey, we're going to have a bit of a fun little chat tonight because last week we were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio turning down a role in Baywatch, the series.
Correct.
I'm not too sure if I would have been okay with it. I mean, back then he was kind of cute.
Well,
so maybe seeing him with his shirt off might have been okay.
Well,
but-
mid-90s was like 20-year-old Leo.
You know what's so funny, though, is that he's still dating people the same age as what he was back then. Leo, you dog.
You dirty boy.
But we're big Leonardo DiCaprio fans.
We certainly are. We
so
certainly are.
we thought we would take that thread and go down a rabbit hole and do an episode on actors who turned down iconic roles.
Yeah, a lot of regret here coming. I can
Oh my
feel
God.
it.
But then there's also some where it's like, oh yeah, good.
There are
Good.
some that you're going to look back and go, you know what, they did the right thing. But there's others here that oh my God, I reckon there's a few of these blokes that would still be sitting in bed at night going, why the hell did I do this?
done?
What have I done? I'm going to give you one right now, and this for me is the biggest. This has to be the biggest. So, Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes.
Early 2000s, started creation and whatnot. They spent 3 years over in New Zealand making the thing.
They literally turned New Zealand into...
Well, Middle Earth, yeah. How good is it though? They've still kept it all intact.
It's
I
fantastic.
love that.
It's a great tourist destination.
Yeah. So anyway, the role of Gandalf the Grey.
Yep.
Now they wanted a prominent actor for this particular
Yes.
role. They needed a big name because the surrounding cast wasn't going to be as strong as we ended up seeing with Viggo Mortensen, who he played Aragorn, obviously. Not well known at this stage. You had the who played, what was his name? Legolas. What was his name?
Oh, yeah, Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom. That was his first movie. He was fresh out of drama school at like 21 years of age. So they really wanted a big name.
Yeah.
And they went after Sean Connery.
Oh, I heard that. And he was supposed to play Gandalf. Instead of Sir Ian McKellen, wasn't
Correct. So, but get this. This is where the regret comes from. Sean Connery was offered the role on a silver platter. Mate, rock up, film your scenes, go back to Scotland. He didn't have to stay there. He could come and go, basically, as he pleased. His salary would have been $10 million per film.
Oh, my God.
Which is a total of obviously $30 million. But he would have received 15% of the box office earnings. $450 million would have been in his back pocket if he signed onto that film.
That is
Mate,
some wild numbers.
That is insane. And obviously, Ian McKellen ended up getting the role. He was juggling X-Men at the same time as well.
That's right, he was
So, mate, for me, if that's not the biggest one, I don't know. But
That's wild.
how would you feel?
That's insane.
Yeah, man. So Ian McKellen, he was the one that won out in the end, and he did an amazing role.
Absolutely.
But
that's an iconic role. And to be really honest with you, as great as Sean Connery would have been, it just wouldn't have been the same.
I feel that Sean's accent
would have gotten in the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
because he's tried playing other. He did try playing other roles throughout his career, and he did it. He did an amazing job. But
He was an icon.
well, when he
was
tried
an absolute icon.
did you ever see The Hunt for Red October when he played a Russian?
I did, yeah.
So you've got this Russian Scotsman, basically. So anyway, it worked out in the end. Ian McKellen was simply
Owned the role.
outstanding.
Owned the role.
But we could have had a different Lord of the Rings because I've got another one for you.
Oh, God.
That's going to follow suit. Similar situation. They wanted another big name actor. And there was no bigger actor in the 90s than our boy Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
He was offered the role to play Aragorn.
Yeah, wow.
And he said no. Thankfully, though, I can't see anybody else doing it as well as Vigo did.
Yeah.
He is Aragorn for me. But yeah, could have been a completely different movie there, my friend.
Wild. That's wild. I think that movie was also the start of the Sean Bean dies in everything he does kind of thing. Like there was,
whoa.
I remember a meme going around for a while ago. It's like, we must save Sean Beans because hundreds of Sean Beans have died in every movie ever released. I'm like, it's true.
Well, some of them from the 90s. He died in Ronin. He famously died in that. He died in GoldenEye, which was James Bond.
And then he obviously died in Game of Thrones.
He died in The Island.
Yeah.
He died in everything.
Sean Beans.
He didn't die in Pixels. Thankfully.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
So he survived Pixels.
Although it would have been so meta for him to die in that.
They should have, like when Pac-Man was eating. Remember when Pac-Man They should have.
my God.
They should have got a Pac-Man to eat him or something.
I wonder if that's like one of the first movies he's done that he hasn't died in.
We'll have to find this out. That could be an episode, right?
Do you know what? You know what? Sean Bean dies well.
Yeah, he certainly does.
He's done it enough. He's a pro.
I'm going to pass the baton back to you, my friend. So, what's your first one off the?
I want to go back to the 1980s.
Okay. Yes.
One of the most iconic movies.
Yeah.
One of my personal favorite movies as a child, and a movie that I don't think gets enough credit.
Yeah. What do you got there?
Harry and the Hendersons.
Okay. Never heard of it.
The movie about Bigfoot, featuring John Lithgow.
No.
Oh my God! You need to watch Harry and the Hendersons.
Never
It was
saw it.
such a great movie.
Okay. So
So it's like, they're driving their car through the forest and they hit a wild animal and they stop and they're like, "What the hell is that?" And they get out of the car and they realize that they've hit Bigfoot.
Well, that's not very good.
And they strap Bigfoot onto the top of their car because they're like, "What do? We can't just leave it here." So they strap him onto the top of the car, drive him back to suburbia, and then all of a sudden one night Bigfoot wakes up attached to the back of their car and starts going on this weird like comedic rampage through suburbia, and it's so funny.
So it's a comedy.
It's such a great movie. John Lithgow turned down the role of the Joker in Batman.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Which Batman?
Jack Nicholson Batman.
No.
Now, I'm going to say this. I love John Lithgow. John Lithgow, I think you are an absolute icon of cinema and television.
Yeah, I agree.
But thank you for doing that because you gave us the greatest Joker ever portrayed in movies. I'm a big fan of Heath Ledger, but even Heath Ledger based a lot of the Joker that he portrayed on Jack Nicholson's Joker.
He did. The laugh for me was...
Yeah,
that's where the similarities were there.
Like it was fantastic. Everything like that whole scene where he wipes his face like this with the handkerchief and the skin colored paint comes off. Because, like everything about the way Jack Nicholson played that Joker was perfection.
I love him, but Heath is mine. But Heath, I've got him tattooed on me, so there's a reason for that.
What have you got?
We're actually I'm carrying on now to Batman as well, but I'm going to be looking at The Dark Knight here.
Oh, yep.
So our boy Aaron Eckhart played the role of Harvey Dent. Two-Face brilliantly.
Loved him.
Matt Damon. He got offered the role, turned it down, and the only reason was because of scheduling conflicts, and it was because of the Bourne ultimatum.
See, that feels like a massive failure. That like, I'm sorry, but like, look, I know that the Bourne series has its fans.
It does. It did well, but to turn down a role in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, which is going to be talked about for hundreds and hundreds of years in time, that's a letdown.
And look, here's the thing, though, right? I don't even necessarily think that Matt Damon would have turned it down because he would have signed on for the Bourne series already at that point. He
had.
wouldn't have been able to do it.
Well, he was locked into a 3-picture deal. However, the scheduling was there was 90 days that he had free.
Yeah, right.
And that's
they
when
weren't going to be able to smash out that movie in 90 days.
that's what happened. So that's why he had to turn it down. But that's a massive one there because
that's unfortunate timing for him.
It is. I would have liked to see it, but then again, Aaron Eckhart, he did a brilliant job.
This is the thing, and this is the hard thing when you talk about fan casting, when you talk about actors who turn down roles, because to be honest with you, a lot of these movies that we're talking about, they're iconic.
They are.
There are very few exceptions here. Very few. I've got one, maybe two, that I would say I wouldn't have minded seeing that. And one of them is that Cher, the Queen of the Universe.
Would she turn down?
Morticia Addams in the Addams Family.
Oh, she would have nailed that.
And she would have been playing opposite Raul Julia, who played Bison
in Street Fighter.
from Street Fighter.
She looks like more. My God,
Yeah,
did not know that.
yeah.
Wow,
Would have been amazing. I would
She
have loved to
would've.
have seen it. Although the problem with Cher's facial structure is I just can't see her not smiling. Cher has this massive, radiant, cheekbone-featured smile about her, and I just don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. But I would have watched it, and I
would-
probably would have enjoyed it. Like, I love Cher.
I do as well.
Obviously, I love Cher.
Oh,
Oh!
here's one for you.
Tell me.
Black Widow.
Oh, I heard about this one.
The role was originally handed to Emily Blunt.
And you know what? She would have done a banging job.
She would have done a banging job. She is phenomenal in pretty much everything she
Yeah, man.
does. So when I see an Emily Blunt movie listed to come out and say 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, I'll take note of that because
Yep.
I love her. I love her abilities to portray any task that she gets handed
She's
to.
married to Krasinski, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Old mate who played in. He was part of the. He was in
Office.
The Office, yeah.
And other things, but The Office, yeah,
But
he's a spectacular Hollywood director
But just
now.
think, right? Emily Blunt turned down. That was in Iron Man 2. That was the first appearance.
I actually think that Emily Blunt is so underappreciated and
Yeah.
underrated.
Yeah.
I think she's spectacular.
She is. I
I think
agree.
she's stunning. I think she embodies every single character that she does.
Yep.
Like you never have a moment where it's like, oh, that's Emily Blunt playing.
Yeah.
It's, oh no, that's that character.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Is it The Silent Place?
Silent Place.
The one where they can't talk, the one that John Krasinski directed.
Oh, that was recent. I didn't see it.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah,
in that.
wow.
Oh my God.
I'm
Oh
sti-
my God.
Yeah.
And, for an actor to be able to do what she did in a movie where it's all about not talking.
Yeah. So that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
give the woman an Oscar already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Emily Blunt.
So anyway, that is a huge turn down though, because you've got Iron Man 2, then you had all the Avenger films, you had the Iron Man 3, and then you had the actual Black Widow movie.
Yep,
We're
yep.
talking like 10 films she could
Yeah.
potentially would have been part of.
I got one that wouldn't have worked.
Okay.
This one I'm so glad never happened. Thank
Yep,
God it
yep.
happened the way it did, because Tom Hanks is an amazing actor.
Yep.
But Tom Hanks should never have been considered for the role of Jerry Maguire.
Oh God, no.
It was offered to him. It was turned down. And I'm
nah.
so grateful that it
Yeah.
was. I don't see him in that comedic kind of
Nah,
role. Like,
I don't either.
I think of Tom Hanks and I think of like
Car-
Forrest Gump.
Castaway.
Castaway.
Yeah. Toy Story.
Not National Treasure. The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, he was good in that.
Like Dr. Robert Langdon.
I loved that movie.
Yeah, me
I didn't
too.
I didn't like the other two,
Same.
but I loved
Dante's Inferno was weird.
it was weird.
It made no sense.
Yeah, man. It was
But I mean, I
weird.
think that's more on Dan Brown, the writer of the book,
Yeah,
than
true.
it is on Tom
the
Hanks.
twist at the end was good though. When the girl there came out and was like, "I'm part of this," and you know,
Yeah, maybe.
I can't remember who the actress was.
Look, I think Tom Hanks has done so well to choose the movies that he's jumped into.
Yeah.
And I think that was the right decision.
Yeah,
So
well, Tom Cruise nailed that role.
he did, and I hate to admit it. I hate to admit that Tom Cruise can do anything right, but that role he did right.
I loved Tom. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
You've got one over here.
Jesus.
No, look, I'm not going to begrudge the guy, because you know what? Like, being that short must have been. No, look, he's made such a good living for himself. He's an icon. Tom Cruise, you are an icon.
Yeah.
You're eventually one day you'll become a Hollywood Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I prefer Stewie Griffin.
Jesus Christ. All right, you went there.
I've got one more,
Yeah.
and I am actually going
Go.
to tell you. No, I want to do this one last because I think
Okay.
this is going to blow up the first one that you told us that you thought was the biggest one. I think this is going to be booming.
I don't know, but we'll see.
All right.
All right.
Give me
I'm
two
gonna-
more.
I've got two more here. I'm just going to skim through I'm going to skim through the first one. Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. He was actually offered the role of James Bond before Daniel Craig in the mid-2000s.
I would have paid dollars to see that.
The reason he didn't do it is because they didn't have a script ready. And prior to the Casino Royale, which was actually a reboot in the James Bond franchise, that was released in 2006, Pierce Brosnan was the previous Bond. And it's fair to say the last two of the Bond films that came out in 99 and 2002, they were very focused on unrealistic kind of things.
Was it GoldenEye that he was in with Halle
GoldenEye
Berry?
was so GoldenEye was 95. Halle Berry was in Die Another Day,
Die
which
Another
was
Day.
2002.
That's the one that I liked
Yeah,
the most.
but see that one for me was the most unrealistic Bond movie.
Really?
Just some of the he paraglided with a parachute from a speed racer car kind of thing, and
So?
ended up surfing on a door. Anyway. The reason that Jackman looked at that and goes, "Okay, you don't have a script ready now." He didn't want to go in that direction. He wanted to do the serious Bond,
Yeah, right.
similar to the Sean Connery way.
Yeah.
And he was also playing Wolverine,
Obviously.
and he didn't want to get stuck into two. He didn't want to get locked down in two contracts because he felt like he would never get to play any other role. And it's
Yeah.
a bloody good. It's a very smart decision that he made. Because,
I actually think he's one of the smartest men in Hollywood.
mate,
Hey?
well, he would have had to sign at least a 5-picture deal with Bond, and he would have already had probably 5 or 6 X-Men's. So all he would have been doing is Wolverine, Bond. We would have missed out on The Prestige. We would have missed out on The Greatest Showman. We would have missed out on all those, amazing films throughout the 2000s to up till now. He wouldn't have been able to do it. So that one for me was a good one. And I'm going to finish off here. This would have worked for me. But I'm glad it didn't because I love Harrison Ford. I'm a
I love Harrison Ford.
huge Harrison Ford actor. But Tom Selleck was originally offered the role of Indiana Jones. Now, the reason that didn't the reason that Harrison wasn't already offered was because of obviously George Lucas was attached to this film along with Spielberg. So Steven Spielberg. So Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, they were the two minds behind Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to typecast Harrison Ford. So George Lucas movie, it must be Harrison Ford, because he's just done Star Wars with him. He did the
Yeah, look, that's a fair
did
point.
American Graffiti. He was in all of George's main films.
Yeah.
And then so they didn't want to they wanted to go in another way.
Yeah,
Only reason it didn't eventuate was because Tom Selleck was playing Magnum P.I. in that TV series throughout the 80s.
Wow.
He couldn't get out of his contract to do it. So they already had, they thought, though, that Tom Selleck was a sure thing. They thought it was going to eventuate. So the studio was ready. They had the green button. They bang, we're filming tomorrow. And Selleck couldn't get out of it. And they go, the directors were like, oh my God, we need someone We need someone.
And of course, when you've worked with someone like George Lucas for so long, when George Lucas calls, you say, yes, sir.
Mate, Harrison didn't even read the script. He just got the phone call. Now, I've read this on...
I bet he wishes he read the script of The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, though.
That was shocking. But can you think of anyone else, though, playing Indiana Jones?
No, maybe Sam Neill.
Yeah. He actually applied for James Bond as well. He actually screen tested. He done everything right.
I think he would
and
have
they
been a great
just
Bond.
at the last minute they went in another direction.
I think he would have made a great Bond.
He would have. So you reckon you can top me from Sean Connery playing Gandalf?
I do.
What do you got
Jim Carrey,
in?
The Truman Show. He was in The Truman Show.
He was in the Truman Show. So
It was the best movie he ever made. It was the most spectacular storytelling you've ever seen in your life. It was an absolute masterpiece in every single possible way.
Well, he did a lot of that on his own as well.
did.
Similar to Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Yeah.
The reason those two movies are so iconic and it's because the portrayal that these actors and the way they were able to create this and project it onto a camera.
Yep.
Well, he was talking to himself half the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so what's the twist?
It was originally offered,
Yeah.
and as a result of this offer,
Yes.
there were rumors for decades
Yes.
of a huge Hollywood rift between these two men,
I know where this is going.
and it was
Yeah.
absolutely wrong.
Yep.
But it was originally offered to Robin Williams.
Wow. Are you happy that happened?
I am very happy
Yeah,
that it was Jim Carrey.
yeah.
I'm so happy it was Jim Carrey. I love Robert
So
Williams.
do I.
We know how much I love Robin Williams.
Yep.
You know, Ask
Yep.
Arnie Loosh last week was my little
Yep.
homage to Mrs. Doubtfire. Like
Yep.
I think Robin Williams was phenomenal. Like Patch was just one of the most beautiful movies.
Patch Adams.
Yeah, what a beautiful
that
movie.
was.
1 hour photo. Holy crap, what a creep.
Yeah.
Like that was just spectacular actor. But I think the Truman Show
belongs.
belonged to Jim Carrey. I almost want to say that if you were writing the Truman Show without Jim Carrey in mind, what were you doing?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's definitely his role.
So to me, that is one of the biggest correct decisions made in Hollywood, where one actor was offered, another one took it up.
I'm going to give you one more quickly.
Quick, you
This
go.
one is
Just a quickie.
Will Smith, Neo, The Matrix. Thank the Lord. I think I said that last week as well,
Yeah.
so I must really not like it.
No.
That was good, mate. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I think that we should do something similar to this again.
Okay.
There's just so much. Like we had a list of like 40 or so different actors, and
We
there's
did.
so much that we culled from it. So, yeah, great shout with
Well,
this
if you
episode,
guys like and if you guys enjoyed tonight's episode, send us a thumbs up. Give us some comments.
man.
Let
A
us
like
know.
and a follow and a subscribe,
Yeah.
and don't forget we are live and in living color on YouTube. I have been Loosh. This has been Loki. That has been you. And while you're there, say hi to your mum for me.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. They stole it from us.